Hey everybody, welcome to November. Welcome to Who's Your Adventure YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping in. If this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome. And to all the loyal folks that keep coming back each week, thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. So tonight, again, we're going to take a jig, a series of jigs, and we're going to take it to a whole nother level. As you can see from, the thumbnail on the video, I started working on this probably about a month ago, and I've just been working on it until I kind of got it where I thought, it was worth sharing. And this is the jig here. Again, it's from the same style jig that I've been working on pretty much for the last year, which is the BadAss jig, which is a hand-tied swim jig, twin tail, and I've shown several different ways that you can tie this jig up. It's a high productive jig. The crappie just seem to really get drawn to it, and a lot of that I think is just in these tails, the vibration that it creates, and then the presentation. Obviously there's a multitude of color combinations and stuff, and I really don't get into that, but you can see here I have a multitude of different color combinations, and as I create the new styles and stuff, that's what I share with you guys, to help you guys learn how to tie this and to take it out and, have fun with it, catch a lot of crappie. To the best of my knowledge, this is the only style jig like this on the market that that's out there, and I'm kind of proud of that, I guess, in a sense. So to give a little bit of background on this jig, the concept started over a year ago with a friend of mine, a couple friends of mine actually. I had this idea about a swim jig and how it needed to present itself. So I was working with my buddy Carl Thompson, who has a YouTube channel, and my buddy Eric, we were kind of floating ideas back. Carl tied a couple up, trying to take my ideas out of my head, because at the time I wasn't even tying jigs. And this kind of reflects a little bit about why I started the channel and try to promote guys to give this a try, because I have truly and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I enjoy sharing it with you guys. I didn't even know really, that much about tying jigs or any of that. So, Carl, if you're watching this video, or Eric, you're watching this video, shame on you guys, because you got me started in this, and now it's an obsession. So I started working with Carl on it. We tied a few, we took them out and fished them, and they did super good. I mean, super good. But basically I wanted to, take it to another level and keep perfecting it. I had the idea, and it's really hard to take the idea or what somebody's thinking and deliver it to somebody else, and for them to be able to do what you're thinking. And so Carl did the best he could, and like I said, the jigs that he was tying were extremely effective. But I wanted to do more. So that's when I started tying jigs, and I didn't start off tying the BadAss jig. I started just with the basics of it and just trying to hone skills. And that's what I would encourage you guys to do. This is not the easiest jig to tie. So if you start with a basic, Popeye jig, or I think I got a couple in here. It's just a basic jig that you can tie up, and just kind of start honing your skills just a little bit, and then stair-step your way up until where you're tying these jigs. Now, obviously, I'm here to help folks. So, I mean, if you ever got any questions and stuff, you know, I'm here, you can email me. I'm here to, you know, do what I can to help you quite understand it. But just to give you a hint, you know, I try a multitude of different things. And this is where it starts, is basically, you know, a concept and just trying to hone that concept a little bit and what the idea is. You know, here's one that, you know, obviously would never make it on film because it didn't do very well. I tried to incorporate plastic into a tail system that, and it just didn't work. So, you know, you're going to have those trial and errors and stuff. And then, you know, you're going to have some that's going to work really well. You know, this is where I first started, learn how to wrap knit skin. And, you know, is this an effective jig? It'll probably catch fish, but it's not very effective. You know, it's not something that I would, again, take out fishing and rely on. You know, this is one where I was learning how to do so this is a dry fly, and I'm teaching myself how to use the eyes and what I could do. Now, this is a very effective bluegill jig. It turns out that the bluegill really loved it. So I guess what I'm saying is you know, some of this is just trial and error, and some of it is just a matter of, you know, honing your skills just a little bit. I keep those as a reminder, you know, of you know, where I started and where I've come from. All right. So what makes tonight's jig so much different? Well, if you notice, the body is totally different, okay? This is a UV resin body, okay? Now you say, well, why is that so important? Well, it's the presentation it gives in the water. It's got a glowing factor to it, and it really enhances your catch rate with this jig. Now, I painted some eyes on here, just kind of playing around with it and stuff. But this jig has been very effective. I mean, I've taken it out, tested it in the pond several times, and have done extremely well. And my pond is extremely low right now, so the crappie and the bass and the bluegill are stressed. So for it to be effective in the pond, taking this to a lake would make it probably extremely effective, okay? Basically, this is what we're going to tie tonight, okay? I'm going to show you how to do this body. The tying part of it is exactly the same. There's not a lot of difference in how I tie the jig. Tonight's video is really focused on this UV resin body, okay? And what that body does, you know, basically is how it glows and works its way through the water. And, you know, we'll throw up a video of it in the water and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So let's get started here. So there's a handful of things that you're going to need to make this jig. And obviously the first ones are the threads. So this jig has two different colored threads. It has a white, and I use a 200D denier thread, both chartreuse green and white on this jig. You're going to need the scud skin for your tail, just like all the other BadAss jigs. And as usual, GoPro shut off. We're going to use a holographic flash for back by the tail. So this flash is a very silvery holographic. We're also going to use a hologram pink that has blues, greens, and even some silver in it as part of our body right here, okay? I'm going to tie this tonight's jig on a 1/16 ounce round ball jig head, because I'm hoping that it'll help you guys follow along and be able to see what I'm doing here, because there's some things you have to do in order to make this work right. Very first thing we're going to start off with is, you know, our super glue gel, and we're going to run, I'll let that on there. We're going to run this, just a small little bead of it right down our shank, okay? I went from the hard as nail to the super glue just because it really locks this thing down in there. And these jigs take a beating. I'm looking for the maximum stability of keeping them together, because I really enjoy fishing them. So we're just going to go back to that hook point, okay? And then bring it back forward. Clip that off. Now, when you're doing your flash and stuff, it's important that you don't overdo it, okay? And how I tie my flash on is a little bit different from everybody else. I get it, but I feel like I have more control over it. So basically, I'm just looking for something that's kind of comes to a point but is bushy. That's what's going to really give that effect in the water that I'm looking for. You know, just kind of like minnows rolling over. If you ever fish at night and put your light down there, you'll see the minnows just kind of rolling over down there, and they put off that flash, which triggers strikes, you know, for your crappie and predator fish. Okay, so as you can see, there's not a lot of it, but just enough of it, and I've got different lengths in here because in the water it's going to give it that different look. It's kind of like it's you know, the different lengths float different through the waters, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now we're going to start with now I'm using the Monkey Milk Sparkle Scud Skin for this particular jig. This jig just happens to have all Jim's favorite colors in it for crappies that I've always had really good luck with. And I encourage you, if you haven't seen the other videos on this jig, I encourage you to, you know, go check them out. It'll help you better understand how to tie this tail. And I'll kind of go over it again here too. All right, third time's a charm. We took the battery out this time. So I'm gonna, and I'll show you how to tie this tail, but basically we're gonna just measure this tail up. Because how you tie the tail is extremely important. So what you want to do when you're starting your tail is basically you want to get your tail to a point. Okay, you want to make that 45-degree slice, and you want to start this right up here, and then you want to lock this in here. Okay, and then once you come around and you've measured your length of your tail, okay, what I'm going to do is the exact same thing. I'm going to take that and I'm going to put a 45 on it right there. All right. The tail is what makes the BadAss jig the BadAss jig. Then you want to just kind of pull this tail around until you get it perfectly straight down the shank. And then you're just going to wrap it a single wrap all the way down. Then you're going to come back across those wraps. Okay. It kind of helps that tail stand up just a little bit, if you can see that. Okay. Now here's where we're going to put a couple whip finishes in here and just kind of lock this in. Again, this jig takes quite a beating. Okay. Then what I want to do is now I just want to go back and I want to just wrap this body portion and get it as smooth as I can with the thread. The tail's pretty much locked in at this point. All right. So the next step in this is we are going to wrap the body section with this pink holographic crystal flash, okay? So you're just going to lay this right along your shank side right here. You're going to lay that in there, okay? And you're going to hold it in there. And you're going to wrap it just like you did the tail. And then you're going to come back across that. And basically this is what you end up with right here, okay? Now you want to start your wrapping process. We're going to move some stuff around. You want to start your wrapping process back here as close to the tail as you can get it, okay? Now you want to put a little snug pressure on this and you want to wrap it nice and slow, keeping it uniform as you're coming up. See, like right there I had a little crack, you could see the white. And then we're going to bring it back down. Till there's about 1/16 of an inch from the tail section. And then bring it back up. It's just kind of helping form that body just a little bit. And obviously the more wraps we put in here, leave yourself plenty of room to hold this too, okay? Because if this comes loose, it unravels real easy. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross and tie this in now. Get this out of the way for you so you can see. All right. And then we're just going to trim this up. And we're going to put a couple of whip finishes on it. Okay, this next step you don't have to do. It's just about incorporating a handful more color into this jig, okay? If you want to do this, you can. So what I do is I'm going to trim my white off. I'm going to bring my chartreuse green in here. It just helps with color contrast. You know, when these jigs are in the water, it just helps break up some of that contrast. Okay. I don't go hog wild or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just looking to break the body contrast up a little bit. Okay. I want to make sure it's nice and uniform all the way around. Okay. And then I'm just going to put one whip finish in there. Doesn't take much. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my tail down till I get it to where it's almost a dead even point. Now I'm going to take and cut a little deeper than a 45 on that. Okay, and I'm going to snip that. All right. This is the angle of the BadAss jig tails. Okay. That allows it, as the water is flowing past this, it spreads your tails open like this as it's going through the water. Okay. And that's what opens up the flash in the center, which creates the stripe. Okay. This next part is the one that takes the longest. Okay. What you're going to need is you're going to need some UV resin glue, okay? Now, I use a thick and I also use a soft, okay? And this part kind of takes the longest, all right? Because you have to make sure that your resin is set up, all right? And you're going to need a black or a UV resin light to cure it. Okay, not a black light. A lot of people think, yes, it looks like a black light, but there's UV resin lights. Make sure you're getting a UV resin light, okay? So we're going to start with our soft. The other thing that you're going to need is a toothpick. Okay, the toothpick is going to allow me to kind of help form that minnow body on here, okay? And when you roll your jig over, you're going to notice that this jig, so you know this jig, this is your bottom, this is your belly bottom, this is where your belly is going to go. This up here pretty much stays the same because this jig is built upside down, okay, as to how it's presented in the water. So you want to make sure that this jig kind of is very level in this form here, okay? This is what's going to allow us to do what we're going to do here. This part is kind of a process here, okay? So we're just going to put dots on here. And to the best of my ability, I looked out there to see if anybody else was doing this just to, you know, kind of help myself a little bit. And I couldn't find anybody that was doing this. So I just took it upon myself basically to learn how to form this body. Okay. So we're going to just start with a little. And as you can see, we're starting to form that belly right here, okay? The UV is drawn down. Just as it gets to a certain point, this is where we want to start really getting it to set up. And it's a little bit at a time, guys. If you over squirt on this, you're going to make a mess. I promise you. I learned the hard way. You can't make this body all at one time. And if you don't pay attention, you'll get globs on here. Now the way I test it is if my toothpick doesn't stick to it, we're pretty much there. Okay, so that's the first layer. Now we got to come back and we got to do it one more time. And when you get enough on there, you want to just kind of rotate it. And then this is where your toothpick's going to come in. Now, as you can see, we've got a small belly on here, okay, which is going to give it that glow in the water. Okay. Now I want to start on this side. All right. Now, again, this next step, you don't have to do this. I was just playing around, having fun. But being it's in the thumbnail, I just thought maybe I'd throw it in the video too. So, as some of you know, I went to Hobby Lobby not too long ago. And I got some acrylic paint, okay? And I just thought, you know what? It'd be kind of nice to incorporate the color of some of this. And I kind of put these, my favorite colors. So I got chartreuse green, pink, monkey milk. I have a silver flash. And I have a feeling it's a fan favorite of some of your guys's too out there. But basically, it's just a matter of just dotting some I's on here. You know, I'm not trying to get too carried away with it. You know, it's just a matter of it just presents a little bit more color. And I don't know that it really has any bearing on whether you're catching fish or not. I think the fish are more concerned about whether or not it's food than how pretty it is. To be quite truthful and honest with you. But it's in the thumbnail, so we're going to put it on there. Okay. So basically, this is the BadAss jig with a UV resin jig. Now, what I will tell you is this has got to put a little bit more time into curing this. But the reason I haven't started that is because right where our eyes are, we're going to take some thick UV, okay, and we're just going to put a dot of the thick right over our eyes. Okay, and then we're going to hit this with our black light. and cure this, and then we'll flip around and do the other side. And that just gives that acrylic paint, again, it just helps it glow in the dark, and gives it a really cool look. And it's going to prevent it's going to keep the jig's going to last a lot longer. Okay. So now, as you can see, the eyes have that glass look to them. And then, of course, you got your nice body on there. And you have a great jig to take fishing with you. Now, I have a bigger UV light that I'll set this jig in under, and I'll let it sit there for probably, I'm guessing 25 to 30 minutes, just so that it gets really good and cured, so that when I take it out and fish it, it's all cured up and stuff. It's a pretty cool jig, but you can see that the eyes are kind of glassed over now. Hopefully the camera picks that up. We have a very holographic presentation, and as this jig is moving through the water, it's definitely got a look that that the fish really are attracted to. So hopefully everything's coming out on camera like it should. All right, so let's take this thing out and put it in the water now, and show you what it's all about. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, this content. You know, this isn't the easiest jig in the world to tie up, but I'm telling you, it's a very effective jig. And you know, don't be afraid to practice a little bit. If you're, you know, if you're just getting started with tying your own jigs and stuff, take your time, you know. And obviously reach out if you got any questions. Guys, I'm still learning. By far, I am not, I'm not at the level that some of these extremely talented guys are, you know, that have been doing this for a long time. But hopefully I'm an inspiration to all of you that it's a ton of fun, and you know, an opportunity to you know, tie a jig that, you know, you take out fishing with you, and you're catching crappie or bluegill or walleye or whatever species you're fishing for, and you're catching fish on it. It's quite rewarding. So you know, take it on and try it, and don't be afraid to reach out to others, you know, for advice or instruction and stuff. You know, I've got tons of friends that, you know, call me, text me, and I've got some photos. I've kind of been waiting until I get a good group of them from some of the guys that have tied the BadAss jig, and actually sent me some photos of what they've done. And some of you guys are extremely talented. They look good. I encourage you to stay with it and have fun with it. But if you like tonight's video, guys, please do me a favor. I think everybody that has a YouTube channel asks this, and I can't emphasize enough, not just for our channel, but for others. If you like these videos, please do us a favor and give us a thumbs up, okay? And if you're inclined, hit that subscription button. The thumbs up helps YouTube push our videos so that others get the opportunity to enjoy the content. Adding subscribers helps the video channel grow, and as the channel grows, more opportunities are presented to the creators. And hit that notification bell. That way you know when we're uploading a video. And if you're inclined, come back and watch the video and leave a comment, guys. I'm actually shocked that the last video that we put out did not get very many comments, because I was expecting a lot more comments or emails. And you're more welcome to email me at whozer.adv or whozer.adv@gmail.com. I'll put it up here on the screen so you've got it. If you got questions or anything. And our channel is really dedicated to you folks. So if there's something that you guys would like to see on the channel, reach out and let me know. Boat update. We have the boats in the process of going through repairs. I'm going to do a full-fledged video on the boat and everything that is being done to the boat. I'm going to talk about how we had some extremely positive and very directional conversations with not only Bass Pro Shop and the Cabela's people and Nitro, and a handful of other people were involved in all the talks and stuff. I try to be an ambassador, a solid ambassador to our industry, to fishing, our sport. And so I'm trying not only to help get my stuff repaired, but to bridge gaps so that others out there that have the boats and stuff or have issues, we can get them resolved. And it doesn't matter where it's the boat, the electronics, or whatever. So trying to do it in a very positive manner. But stay tuned for that video. Hopefully we'll have it up in the coming weeks. Again, if you enjoyed tonight's video, give us a thumbs up. If you're inclined, hit the subscription button, folks, and hit that notification bell so you know when we're uploading a video. Enjoy the BadAss UV Body Jig video coming up next. Y'all have a great evening. We'll see you on the next video. If nothing else, please remember, always be kind. Good night, everybody.